working on, last week we worked on some attacks from side control. This week we're going to work on escaping it. So we're here. Austin's got here to just kind of traditional side control. Not a great position for me to be in. Not a lot of great attacks, not a lot of great options. So we're going to have to work on re-guarding or escaping. We're going to start by re-guarding. First thing I'm going to do is get 2 frames in. First frame, I'm going to get my top hand to his shoulder, and I want to frame his face away from him. This is going to be the most important frame for everything we're doing. Then all we're going to do is we're going to bump a little bit and get this second frame into the hip. Some people will grab some cloth here, belt, pants, whatever. I don't. I just like to kind of cup the hip here. All we're going to do, I'm going to post my outside foot, lift my hips up, bridge into him, and I'm driving my bottom knee into his side, using my shin on his hip bone to frame him away from me. So if we're doing this right, we should have 3 points of contact pushing him away from me. Very nice. So we're here. Get here. I get that first frame dug in. I get in here. Okay, now I got 2 frames. Now I bump in again, big bump, and I get that 3rd frame in. Once I have that 3rd frame in, I can pick this foot up, and I like to just put it right back into butterfly guard. The reason I like this is re-guarding all the way back to full guard is just unrealistic for someone who doesn't suck. It just is. So when I'm here, I keep them framed up, I get that pulled back in, and I pull myself into butterfly guard. The benefit of that obviously being a much better position both offensively and defensively for myself as opposed to side control. So I'm here with Mr. Spears. I'm on the other side this time. I frame up, I get that first initial forearm across his face, just to create a little discomfort and a little bit of space. Sometimes you'll be able to just drop this hand in to the hip, other times you'll have to kind of bump and work it in. As soon as that happens, I'm going to bridge hard, shrimp, and get that frame off. I'm using all 3 frames. This foot on the hip, this hand on this hip, this hand on the head and shoulder. That's going to allow me to insert my butterfly hook in, and that butterfly hook is going to allow me to pull the top leg into that butterfly. That then allows you to be butterfly, attack as needed. Questions on this? You're like, Dustin, that's really simple. You're absolutely correct, Austin. You know what it also is? It isn't easy when someone doesn't suck and they're actually applying pressure.
So the thing I struggle with is when people have like top pressure and shrimp out.
Yeah, because you're not framing with that top foot. So when I'm here, this isn't something where you can be like, oh yeah, hey, I can just kind of hang out and then, maybe. This bottom leg has to shoot in. Sorry, I said top. This leg has to shoot in to create that space. Because if I'm here and I just kind of bump and shrimp, yeah, Austin is going to instantly retake that space. He's not just going to let me create a shit ton of space on top. Realize top and bottom jiu-jitsu comes down to 2 simple principles. My job is to create space, his job is to take it away. That's the core of top and bottom game. So when I'm here, as soon as I shrimp here, I'm going to get this frame in to control that space. Because now if he tries to come back in, that's fine. Re-kick back out, re-shrimp a little bit, re-bite that ankle, boom. And realize, just because I'm saying this is a really simple technique, does not mean it's going to be easy. It's not going to be 1, 2, 3. This may be 3, 4 different attempts. When I'm here in Boston, I'm going to get this hand in. He's going to sit out and try to clear this elbow. It's going to be a couple shrimps, a couple attempts at getting this in. This isn't a, paint by numbers 1, 2, 3 type of side control. The concept of it, very simple. I don't think anyone would argue. Technical application could be a lot harder with resistance. Makes sense? Other questions?
Is there anything that you're risking? Like,
Always. You're in jiu-jitsu, yes.
but if you're pushing away with that,
Not a ton. You know, there's always that, you know, sneaky, you know, grip and rip type stuff that you may run into. But for the most part, his focus isn't going to be on that. It's going to be on getting control back from the side control. So you're more likely for them to like sit out and go for the series we worked last week or something like that than you are, you know, them to try to snap up your arm right there. Because realistically, up here, for him to armbar either of these arms would take quite a bit. There's not great Kimura lock options from here, so there may be like a sneaky wrist lock or something, you know, something. Just kind of grabbing to grab something, but for the most part, relatively safe, you know, for what that's worth. Obviously, there's always options, but high level, high percentage options. Other questions? Alright, driller out. 1, 2, 3. Alright, so I'm back here. I'm back in side control. Boom, I get to here. Let's say I try this frame. It's not working, right? Austin doesn't suck at jiu-jitsu, which makes just framing him off me, you know, a little bit harder than it should be, right? I don't appreciate that. It's hard. I don't like it. So boom. All we're gonna do is I'm gonna use this frame to bump up, but instead of holding here to try to keep him off me, all I'm gonna do is roll this hand under. I'm gonna roll this hand under, come here, and dig for this underhook. This is gonna give me 2 options. All I'm gonna do, if I want to wrestle a little bit more, let's say I like to come up, go here. All I'm gonna do, take my hand as it digs this underhook towards our heads. Come up. You're gonna end up in like a dogfight position or something of that nature. So it's gonna allow you to come up. Let's say you're a little bit more confident in your bottom game. You're more of a bottom player. So my frame, I get here. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this to pull him forward and work on getting in my half. Easiest way to do that is to drive your shin to the front of his feet. So when I'm here, I dig this underhook. I'm gonna drive this here, like I was framing, but instead of trying to drag in myself in front, all I'm trying to do is get this leg in. Now I have my underhook and my half, which allows for deep half on another cover. But we're here. Like I said, 2 options. I get here, I start framing, it's not working. Okay, I don't appreciate that. I get this underhook. All I'm going to do, throw my hand towards my head. Here, start coming up into that dogfight position, half guard or just into neutral. If I'm a little bit more of a bottom player, I'm here. Boom, I do this underhook here. I'm going to use that. It's kind of, I'm not pulling my hand this way, I'm pulling it in to drag that underhook. Nice part is you get reset down here. I prefer coming up because I'd much rather be on top. Personal preference versus technical. Questions on this? What was that? Coming up against any other questions?
Are they probably going to reestablish whatever side control they have and try to push you back down?
Yeah, they're going to be driving into you and trying to run. This isn't. So, when we're here, when I'm here, biggest difference is I'm driving this hand up while I'm hip heisting out. So what's going to be happening is he's going to be driving back into me and trying to wrestle. That's where you're going to end up in that more of a dogfight position. Like let's say I have JJ here. JJ doesn't suck at wrestling, allegedly. So I get here, right? Boom, I get my underhook. You're going to end up in front headlock, that single leg position, any of that. So that's going to be for those of you guys who want to be in those positions. Me, perfectly comfortable there. Nothing you're going to do to me I haven't seen. Someone like Kat may not want to be there. She may want to go 4.5. It's all the game dependent on that.
When you went to Austin when you came up, you kind of sat back down. Is that sweet?
No, you have to engage your legs first.
Engaging your leg to
You have to engage. So, depending on the tournament, generally the way the rules written, or the way it's meant to be interpreted is, my legs have to be in the engagement of moving your hips or body to initiate this. So just to be my hips off balance. Basically, I have to use my legs to off balance myself. Everyone writes it differently. ADCC, IBJJ, everyone phrases it. My hips and legs have to be used to off balance your hips and legs. Is basically how it's written. Make sense? Other questions on this?
What's kind of the more, or I guess the most important step to not get smushed when you're regarding that?
Into half is going to be, so when I'm here, here's Mr. Steers. I get here when I'm here, and creating as much space as possible so that when you get to here, I can start to elevate with this arm. Because his first goal is going to be to reestablish this control here, and that's going to give you the space. If you have a good bite on that underhook, he can't just willy-nilly go to smash.
So you're just moving it with your under.
Yeah, I have that underhook at that point. If you want to get the grips, you can. But if I'm here, even if, boom, I'm here, he tries to smush here, like, you have to reestablish that underhook before you can sneak. But, so, he's got to reestablish that underhook before he can smash you. So as long as you have a good bite and a tight underhook, you'll be okay. Obviously, as we talked, Jiu-Jitsu's counter to the counter. They're going to start countering the second you have that underhook to do other things. But, like I said, underhook options are going to be. Other questions here on these two? Driller out. 1, 2, all right. All right, so he's inside control. I get here. Good things are happening, but I tried my frame. It didn't work. I tried my underhook, I couldn't get it. I get back to this frame. Okay? Now instead of trying just to frame and regard, now we're going to work on escaping. So my hand that was framed in the hip, I'm going to bridge up, and I'm going to sneak it to the opposite hip. So it's over here. It was over here pushing on his hip. Now it's over here. All we're going to do is I'm going to use this wrist to push Stewie back and frame up as hard as I can. As that happens, I'm going to swing this leg out, pushing myself out. Now, one of two things are going to happen. You're either going to swing yourself out and come up to for a headlock, which then you can start showing people doing great stuff, right? All awesome. Or you're going to be here, I bridge up, come out this way, and you're going to hit the Darce choke here. This is what I prefer. So all we're going to do, I'm going to put my thumb right on the back of his neck. My arm, I'm going to come bicep up and grab. Now, this hand I'm trying to put on this shoulder. This hand I'm trying to grab as tight as I can this way. As I do that, I'm walking my hips in and trying to curl Dewey's head, back of Dewey's head on top of my chest. As I do that, I walk into him and choke. So I'm here. Boom. Boom. I get this hand out. Most of you guys will recognize this because I do it quite a bit. It's one of my favorite techniques. Boom. I bridge up and into you because it forces you to drive in. That allows me to slip my head out. Boom. The second my head pops out, I'm biting this hand in. Biting here. Walking my feet in. Now I'm going to loosen my hands so Dewey can breathe and I can talk through this without putting him unconscious. Because while he was late, I do still like him. Here, I'm going to walk my feet in, arching him up so that he gets to this hip. In an ideal world, you should have this finished long before you have to grab his feet. But realize that is the goal. You're trying to walk your feet into him to where you can hook a leg of some sort and hold on to it. If you get to here and they're not tapping yet, you done fucked up, just take top position and move on. Like if you get to that point and they're just sitting there, they're either already unconscious, let go, they're dead, like not great things are happening at that point, or just let go and take top at that point. Because it's not in, and adjusting from there is not really effective. If something's gone wrong, you just need to take top of that. Does that make sense? So I'm here. Boom, my frame up. Bridge up. Oh, I sneak this hand out, right? A lot of people will start to recognize this and realize you're doing something but not know what to do. So a lot of people will do one of two things. They'll either sit this hand here like Dewey is, or a lot of people will actually overhook your head. Like they'll come here and try to start isolating this arm. Perfect. Here. Perfect position. Walk in. Once you get here, all you're doing, slow, steady squeeze. If it's not in, like I said, if you miss it and you're like, his head's out or something like that, boom, take top. Top half guard's much better than bottom side control. Take your victories, work through it. Questions on this? Yeah. If only we had like this drill. That when people were to dig an underhook, let's say on this side here, and they were to dig an underhook here, if only we had like a drill where you pulled them up a little bit, stepped around, came over here. So that way when Dewey realized that he was trying to see this hand out to the opposite hip to go to spin out from under me, all I had to do was spin around. That's exactly what they're doing, is that drill, just with that your other hand. Remember how when we talked about jujitsu's counter to the counter till someone dies? Realize nothing I show you is uncounterable. So yes, there's counter, but it is highly effective. Little sneakier, a little bit sneakier, a little bit faster. Like you can't make a big production of sneaking. I do because I want you to know what I'm doing, because then it really hurts your feelings when I do it. Psychological warfare. If I'm telling you what I'm going to do and it's not going to stop. I'm an ass already. You gotta be a little sneaky. Makes sense? So the biggest way I make it sneakier, I will set this, if I know I'm giving up half guard or butter, like let's say this is happening, like man, he's gonna pass the side. I don't even try to frame this hip half the time. I'll let Dewey go side control to come here to instantly hit this. I'll hit this off the rip. This is, I don't let you settle into side control. I'll hit this escape instantly instead of giving up the points. Worst case scenario, I end up back in side control or in a scramble. I can live with those odds. I didn't give up the pass points, and I shot your neck. Now I'm hitting it literally as they pass. If I don't think I can get a good, butterfly back or something in, and he starts passing here, I'm hitting this literally as soon as it comes out. Because worst case scenario, he drives back into me here. Shit. Alright, I'm in half, or I'm in second. Oh no, now I'm gonna go back to what I was doing, doing all that stuff again. But that's worst case scenario, I end up back inside. Took a shot. Make sense? Other questions?
If you're doing and trying to sneak your way out of that, are you going towards your head or towards your body as far as things rotating? Trying to slow down the darts?
Oh, for him? If it's him? Okay. So, if I'm here, boom, I spin here. Couple things you're willing to do if you're doing it. One is get this elbow as far away from your head as you can. Two is grabbing that grip there, and you can drive into me there, or you want to, if you think you can pop your head out. If not, like let's say I get this grip here, you're trying to run from me. You're trying to get your feet away from me and get your back flat. Those are your two options in a Darce. Neither are really great, but you got to control that elbow and create as much space as possible. Because the good part about a Darce is you can't squeeze it. Like it's not one. If you use both your arms, people will burn up pretty quickly on that. So if it's not in, that's why I say let it go, because you'll burn both your arms and then you won't be able to move. Other questions?
When you flip into it, sometimes, like you said, it's not in. I recognize the time I have like locked. Before you get started, is there any technical details you can do to try to lock up and down?
Couple things that help you hit it at a higher percentage. So when I bump here, right? The second my head pops out, I'm curling his head into it. This hand, a lot of people leave this hand here. I'm curling this to then bite. That's one big difference that helps, the detail that helps. The other one is, a lot of people try to leave his head on the side here. When I bite, I'm trying to get the back of his head on my sternum. So when I'm here, I bite from up. That way, when I walk my hips in, my head is, my chest is behind his neck. Even without my hands fully locked, I'm trying to get this part of his head to my chest. So in between snapping that hand in when I sneak out, my head pops out, biting up to where his head's there, those are the two things that are going to help your Garces the most there. Or Anaconda, forget which one.
Is there any other medical detail besides
So, short man Anaconda, boom, I'm here, about here. You can hit the palm to palm grip here. It's just so much less effective. Even if you're kind of stubby arming this is still going to be better than this. So even if you're stubby, bite here, try to get it up. You can't go here. It's just so much. From bottom, it doesn't have the same bite effect. If you're front headlock, yes, you can hit that short on one. Bottom is just so much harder to get a good fight with it.
That palm to palm grip would be good. So that's for headlock, I guess, to like secure it.
Yeah, if you get your front headlock, you can hit that short arm launch. Like if I'm here, you can hit this short. Like there is a short arm guard. Just not effective for me. Makes sense? Jeweler out. 1, 2,